So hey guys, today we're going to be talking about rulings, or just specifically the rulings on this card, and how this card is actually just, yeah, I'm going to be seeing Succumbing Song Morganite in my dreams. So, alright. Monsters you control can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So, what the hell does this mean? So, first off, it's optional that you make 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. But does this mean I can use my additional attack on a monster and then attack directly? Can I do that? Yes, no? I believe the answer is no, but what's the reasoning behind this? Because if you have an extra normal summon, you can use the extra normal summon first and then do your regular normal summon later. And you don't really have the option to choose when you're using your extra normal summon versus your normal summon. So for attacks, would you be able to choose, or are you absolutely not able to choose for either? Like, what's the ruling for this? And then, monsters you control can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So let's assume there are no monsters on the field, and we attack our opponent directly, and then there are monsters later with some sort of effect like Spirit of Yubel. Can I attack Spirit of Yubel afterwards? Yes or no? Because I technically attacked directly, and then can I then attack Spirit of Yubel twice? Once? 0 times? I'm assuming with the wording here, if you were to just read the wording straight up, the assumption here might be that I can attack 2 monsters and then attack direct even, maybe? You can interpret it that way, potentially. Wait, is that how the card works? Can I attack 2 other monsters and then attack my opponent directly? Can I attack my opponent directly and then attack 2? Well, it doesn't have to be 2 different monsters. It's just any monster twice. Realistically, that's also doable. Could I do that? So if I were to be playing this plus Numeron, so notably all of the Numeron cards don't have any hard ones returned. So if you attack multiple times, you can activate them multiple times. So if we have, we'll go with, which one is this? Numeron Gate. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. Okay. Trini. If we have Trini here, and we attack with Trini, can I attack like a Kaiju 3 times for a game with just like Trini? Actually, is 3 times with just Trini even lethal? Probably not. But yeah, can I attack 3 times with like Trini? Because this would be kind of relevant then, I guess. But okay, so even more confusing. What if I have like some kind of, I guess the most relevant one would be right now Blue Eyes. So we have Blue Eyes Fusion. Which one? Wind Burst. No, but also yes. So if we have, well, this one's relevant for a different reason. So now if we have, well, we're still on like basically the first effect on this card, crazily enough, but we have the exact same text here. So this says you can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. And this says monsters you control can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So it's not an additional attack. So if we have this text, right? So this is going to be important later, but since this is essentially the same effect, but twice, Twin Burst Dragon actually should not be getting any additional attacks, correct? Because it's the same effect already as Succumbing Song Morganite. And I can't even think of like when another effect is kind of relevant in this kind of way, so I don't have any like comparisons off the top of my head. But alright, this can make 2 additional attacks, but it could already do that without this card. So what changes? In this case, I guess nothing changes. So what if we instead have Tyrant Dragon, which has the effect of can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. So if I attack my opponent maybe once with Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which attack is this counting as? Is it counting as the additional attack or the original attack? We have to take that into account. And then when we attack with Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, if I attack monsters 3 times, can I attack directly as well here then? Or if I attack the same monster multiple times, like I could technically do that. So let's say that this would be relevant if there was some sort of protection effect that only triggered once on a monster. So we'll go with, for example, this is the only one I could think of off the top of my head. We have Arbaria here, which has the protection effect, right? So if we have Arborea plus, we'll go with Equimax. So if I immediately offer it attack into Equimax, Equimax gets protected by Arborea, then I attack something else. I can't attack Equimax again, right? Because I can only make two, like, two additional attacks, or wait, is it two additional? No, it's not two additional. It's 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. I'm already forgetting the effect and I'm losing the sauce here, but if I do that, I wouldn't be able to attack into Equimax again, right? Because this says attack. You can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Wait, it says can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Does that mean I can't attack? I mean, it's technically optional because it says can't. Can I attack Equimax twice with this effect while under Succumbing Song Morganite? Well, I definitely can't if I attack another monster and then try to go back for an attack on Equimax, right? Or does that count as one of my additional kind of attacks with Succumbing Song Morganite? This single line is just this headache inducing when you look at other relevant effects with this. And there's several effects like this. There was like Kaleidoscope, or no, not Kaleidoscope, Kaleidoscorp, and then there is Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. And there was something else as well, like several other cards where this would be like somewhat relevant. And then actually, now that I think about it, like another one that could be somewhat relevant would be Terraertz, because Terraertz also gets additional attacks. So, okay. This card can attack monsters a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of different attributes it has. So this effect is slightly differently worded. So does this actually work with the Terraertz here, or does it not work at all? Like, genuinely, no idea. All right, and then we have if your monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled, right? So, question about this. Okay, so what if I'm doubling the battle damage already? So, let's say we have, we'll go with Sylvie. Or not Sylvie. Wrong card. Which one is it? There's so many cards here. No, Silvera, I believe, right? This card has this line of text: illusion and spellcaster synchro monsters you control gain 500 attack. Also, if they attack a defensive position monster, inflict double piercing battle damage to your opponent. So this is battle damage, so it will be affected by Succumbing Song Morganite, right? So piercing battle damage, we already know, should get doubled. But all right, if your monster battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. But does it doubled battle damage? Okay, so if we have a card that specifically says if your battle damage is supposed to be like quadrupled, does it actually go down to doubled, or will it go up and become octupled? My brain, it's just gone, destroyed, obliterated. Yep. And this is specifically only when your monster battles an opponent's monster as well. So that's kind of confusing. And I think that this gets even more weird when we also take into account like a card like what's it called? Well, this isn't actually a doubling, so I guess this would work. Actually, never mind. So double-edged sword, or whatever it's called, that equip spell, that should just get doubled, I guess, with the Makanko cards, I suppose. And also both players take any battle damage from attacks involving the equipped monster, but also wait a second. Your opponent takes any battle damage inflicts your opponent is doubled. So if we have double-edged sword, I guess this is how it would work. That let's say the battle damage dealt is going to be 4,000. My opponent should take 8,000, and I should take 2,000. I think, right? No, wait. If we do 4,000, then I should take 4,000. My opponent takes 8,000, I think. Okay, I guess. Sure. That's just slightly confusing. And you know what? I'm not even certain about like half of the things I said during this video. So you can take a lot of this with a grain of salt here, because like I have no idea how like this would work with the Numeron cards exactly, because this is just hurting my brain. Like, do I get how many additional attacks can I get with my Numeron cards here if I like tribute for Kaiju? So we have Jizukiryu, attack with this Kaiju, attack with second other Kaiju. That should be 2 doubles, I think. And then we can attack with another one. Do I get to then attack 5 times with my Numeron monsters if I quote unquote use my additional attacks on monsters, or does that also count as my like monster attack, or does it not? Like, I've never seen this stuff be relevant. So yeah, my brain's just completely melted. And if I have an effect that gives me, for example, 3 additional attacks, which one takes priority? Does this actually turn my 3 monster attacks into 2 monster attacks, or do I actually gain an additional monster attack, putting me at like 4 or 5? Did I forget to mention that as well? That there's so many interpretations that you could have of this that it's just painful. Well, there's technically only one correct interpretation, but like all the different ways you could possibly interpret this makes this like brain numbing. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.